Hey, welcome. Today we're going to talk all about communication because, let's be honest, in our kind of crazy hybrid world, it's not just a soft skill anymore, is it? It's literally the engine for everything we do. So today, we're going to unlock a whole toolkit of strategies and mindsets that will completely transform how you communicate, making every single interaction you have way more effective.
I mean, you've totally been there, right? You send off an email or a Slack message that you think is perfectly clear, and the response you get is from another planet. Or you walk out of a meeting and just have that sinking feeling that nobody was on the same page. It is such a common frustration, and it happens all the time.
So, why does this happen constantly? Well, it's because poor communication isn't just a small annoyance. It has a real, actual cost. Especially now, when we're all split between the office and our home screens, getting our signals crossed can seriously mess with our work, our goals, and even our relationships.
And you can see how it's just a domino effect, right? When teams can't collaborate, it's almost always because they're not really aligned on their goals. And that misalignment, it slowly chips away at the most important currency any team has, trust. Once that's gone, your team's ability to move fast and perform just plummets. And it all starts with one simple miscommunication.
Okay, so to fix this, we first got to understand the basic tools we're working with. See, communication isn't just one thing. It's this dynamic dance between 5 core modes that we use every single day, often without even thinking about it. Getting a handle on these is step 1.
First up, the most obvious one, oral communication. This is just you, talking. From a big presentation to a quick one-on-one chat. This is where your words and, this is crucial, your tone of voice do all the heavy lifting to get your meaning and your emotion across.
Next up, its counterpart, written communication. You know, emails, reports, Slack messages. The real power here is that you're creating a clear record that people can go back and look at. But the huge challenge? All the nuance, the tone, the expression from your voice, poof, it's gone, which makes our next mode absolutely critical.
And this is a huge one, nonverbal communication. We're talking body language, tone of voice, facial expressions, all of it. This stuff can completely change or even flat out contradict the words you're saying. It's the difference between saying, "That's a great idea" with a big smile versus saying it with a monotone voice and an eye roll. This is where so many messages get lost, especially online.
Of course, communication is a two-way street, which brings us to active listening. Now, this is not just about being quiet while someone else talks. It's about fully locking in, processing what they're saying, and showing that you actually get it. We're going to come back to this one because honestly, it is a genuine superpower.
And finally, we've got the most subtle mode of all, contextual communication. This is all the unspoken stuff, the shared history on a team, the company culture, the power dynamics. It's the reason an inside joke lands perfectly with one group but falls flat with another. It's about reading the room. All right, so with those 5 modes as our foundation, let's get practical. Understanding the what is great, but knowing how to do it is what really changes the game. So now we're diving into some real, actionable strategies you can literally apply to your very next conversation. You know, sending a message that actually lands really just boils down to 4 simple steps. First, know who you're talking to and frame it around what they care about. Second, be concise, respect their time, get to the point. Third, read the cues. Are they nodding along or are their eyes glazing over? You gotta adjust. And finally, always close the loop. Just ask, does that make sense? To make sure you're on the same page.
And here is exactly what being concise looks like. The message on the left, it's just corporate jargon, right? It's full of fluff that buries the point. But the one on the right is direct, it's clear, and it respects everyone's time. The takeaway here is so simple. Just don't use 10 words when 3 will do the job perfectly.
But of course, so many of our rooms these days are digital, and communicating effectively through a screen, well, that's a whole different ballgame. It brings a totally unique set of challenges, and it means we have to consciously adapt our skills for that virtual world. I mean, online, distractions are just everywhere. The solution? Keep your meetings short and recap every key decision. And since you can't see all those nonverbal cues, you have to be extra proactive. A quick "got it, thanks" in the chat actually goes a really long way. And because messages can just vanish into the digital void, you have to follow up in writing. These are really simple fixes for the hurdles we all face online.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, but I wanted to end on what might just be the single most impactful communication skill of all. Seriously, if you can master this one thing, everything else we talked about gets so much easier. So, let's unlock the secret of active listening.
This quote, just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Think about it. How often are you in a conversation, but you're not really listening? Instead, you're just waiting for your turn to talk, crafting that brilliant response in your head. That habit, right there, is the single biggest barrier to actually understanding someone.
So how do we break that habit? Well, first, you have to completely rethink your value in a conversation. Your job isn't to be brilliant, it's to help the other person clarify their own thinking. You do that by paraphrasing. Just saying, "So what I think I hear you saying is," it forces you to actually process their words. And finally, ask questions that push them to think a little deeper. That's where the real connection happens.
And that really brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. All of these strategies, being concise, reading cues, active listening, they aren't just tricks. They are the tools you use to build trust, to create alignment, and to forge a genuine human connection. At the end of the day, that is the real goal. So I'll leave you with this question. As you go into your week, into your next meeting or one-on-one, I want you to pick just one conversation. How are you going to show up differently? What will you do to truly listen instead of just reloading for your turn to respond? The answer could change a lot more than just that one conversation.